Across the pond.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Across the Pond. Today's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be your usual paranormal conspiracy, etc. It's going to be talking about what is happening in the world at the moment, i.e. America, Trump, Zelenskyy, Starmer. Basically the key players in what is actually going on. Because I heard some things during Starmer's meeting with Trump that didn't ring true with me. Now obviously I live in the UK, and what he said there is not what is actually happening in the UK. I think it was Vance who brought it up that people were being arrested for posting memes on the internet, and Starmer says no, that isn't happening. Yes, that is happening, and it's happening a lot. They've even released pretty scary offenders from prison to make room for people who are posting memes on the internet. And for Starmer to say to Trump that that wasn't happening, that's just a barefaced lie. When he came into power, Starmer, he promised, it's basically what everyone voted on. He said he would stop the boats. He said he would lower taxes. He said he would make it easier for the people who were struggling in this country. As soon as he took power, none of that happened. He basically did what he wanted, and you won't see it much in the media, but a lot of places he goes, people boo. He has to have police protection, but he carries on regardless, doing what he wants, him and his government. It's not just Starmer, it's Angela Rayner as well. We had something over here called a winter fuel tax. Sorry, a winter fuel payment, not a tax. And it went to pensioners, people over the age of 65, to help them during the winter months pay for their fuel, pay for food. As soon as Labour came in, they took it off them. No replacement, they just took it off them. So pensioners were left in the UK with nothing. He's increased taxes. Everything he promised prior to his election, he hasn't done. I'm not even going to touch on the illegal migration across the English Channel, because that is just out of control. And he doesn't listen to the people. He's supposed to have been elected to represent the people of this country, but he does nothing for the people. Now people are saying that Trump's a dictator, Trump's this, Trump's that. You need to look at Starmer. He is trying to instigate a communist dictatorship in the UK. You don't see it on the news, you have to look between the lines, because obviously the BBC is a government organisation. When you look at it from a normal person's point of view, everything he does, everything he says, you take it with a pinch of salt. For him to stand there, or sit there, with Trump, and when asked by Vance about the censorship in the UK, for him to say there isn't anything like that, that's just a barefaced lie. It's an absolute barefaced lie. I've seen videos on Facebook, TikTok, of the police knocking on people's doors with printouts from Facebook, arresting people for saying they're not happy with Starmer, they're not happy with the Labour government. That's a dictatorship. That is a Stalin-esque dictatorship. It's just absolutely crazy, but no one seems to talk about it. No one seems to say anything. I don't know how to describe it to you if you're not from the UK. It feels like a two-tier police state. English people in this country, not just English people, Scottish people, Irish people, Welsh people, it's all over these islands. The Irish and the English united about 6 months ago to protest about all this. And for that to happen, that's a major thing. That is absolutely a major thing. Now, if I go out in my country now with a Union Jack, with a St. George's Cross, I will be asked to put it away or I'll be arrested for public order. Now, if I went out with a balaclava on and a Palestinian flag or any other flag of that kind of ilk, I'd be left alone. I wouldn't be touched. I would be allowed to walk the streets and say whatever I wanted with that flag. But as soon as I go outside with a George Cross, with a Union Jack, I will be asked to put it away or be arrested. What other country acts like that? You see it in America. They have the stars and stripes flying away over every building. You have people walking through the streets, patriotic, with their stars and stripes, with their flags. In this country, we're not allowed to do it. And people say Trump is the dictator. Is he really? When you look at it, what would you define as a dictator if that's what you think of Trump? He's been elected on his various promises, obviously being in the UK. I don't know all of them. I'm not going to pretend to be some kind of expert on this. But he was elected on specific promises to clean up the government, etc. Put Americans first. Put American business first. What has he done? I think we are, 2 months in? He's audited the entire American system. The whole lot without prejudice. And what has he found? I don't know what the figure currently is. I'm going to try and find it now while I'm talking to you. But it was in the trillions. It was in the trillions of money that was just being wasted. That's corruption. That's fraud. But nobody's mentioning it. Nobody is saying, hold on. Why has this money been going to this place under that administration? It's in the trillions. Every department, it's in the trillions. Where did this money go? I know of one off the top of my head that I heard that was absolutely crazy. It was teaching abstract art to Afghani women. It was $1 million a year that this teacher was getting. Turns out she was the wife of a senator. And she was teaching abstract art for $1 million a year. That money could have been used for autistic kids, for children who are struggling, poor and deprived kids, but no. It went on one of the most ridiculous education projects I've ever heard of. It was absolutely crazy kind of thing. And obviously people don't like Musk. Lefties, liberals don't like Trump. But can any of them explain to me why they haven't now gone, wait there, hold on, where and why was this money being used? Because it's not the government's money, it's the taxpayers' money. Why is it being used on these far out projects when the healthcare system isn't working? The education system is... Education's another complete topic altogether. The education system is 200 years out of date in my own personal opinion, but that'll be another story, that'll be another topic to talk about. Social care, housing, infrastructure. It could have been used for that, but it wasn't. It was just wasted on these far out projects. Now, what were they? Because in my personal opinion, I don't think half of these projects existed. I think they were used to siphon money out of the government coffers into some corrupt official's pocket. Now, if the lefties, the liberals, aren't happy with that, they need to be looking at themselves in the mirror and going, hold on, maybe my left liberal government wasn't doing everything just for us. And maybe they need to look at themselves. Because that's only one thing he's done. He stopped the border crossings pretty much instantaneously. It went down from thousands a day down to in the 20s, 30s a day. How did he do that? He showed the world he's not going to be walked over. He's not going to be walked over. He's not just going to sit there and let these people cross his border. Now, in the UK, our border is a 30-mile stretch of sea. It's not easy to cross. So it should be easier to defend. But we don't. They physically come over and they are escorted onto our beaches, put up in 4-star hotels, and everything paid for. Now, what a lot of people seem to misunderstand is when people say they don't like these immigrants coming in. No, it's not immigrants, it's these illegal immigrants who come in. If you want to come to my country and you want to integrate into my society and contribute to my society, no problem. Feel free. If you want to come over on a boat and just sponge off my taxpayers' money, no, you aren't welcome here. Because these people who are coming over now, they have to get through at least 4 or 5 other countries to get to us. So why are they not stopping in these other countries? Germany, France, Italy, Greece. There's a lot of countries you have to get through to get to the UK. They come here because they know they will be housed, they'll be fed, and they'll be allowed to wander our streets, which, I have first-hand experience of this, are not safe now. They are not safe. Where I live, I have seen, if you go into the centre in the evening, you have these people urinating in the streets. You have them walking around in gangs. It's not safe. But Starmer won't stop it. He's promoting it. Now,
across the pond,
we'll look again at Trump, because that was the main focus of this little ranty podcast we're doing right now. He stopped corruption within his own government. He's found the money and he's potentially returning it to the people. That's a plus. He's got control of his borders and he's stopped these undocumented people coming in and who you don't know who they are. He's stopped it. That's a plus. He's got all these major companies now investing in the United States. It's trillions of dollars. He's getting into the United States. That's a plus. If you take a look at the Ukraine war, what he did with Zelenskyy, he's bankrolling that war, and he said to Zelenskyy, I'm not bankrolling your war anymore, sue for peace. And Zelenskyy said no. Why would he want to carry on a war that, if you go back to the beginnings of it, has been going on for 11 years? It started with the uprising in Odessa. Whoever started that, we don't know. But it was a civil war that turned into an invasion, so to say, from Russia. But Zelenskyy, let's take a look at this character. Who was he before he became the president of Ukraine? He was a comedian. He was an actor. He wasn't a person you would say, oh, that guy's going to be the president. He even did a film where an actor was put as the president. Don't know what the film was called. Google it, should be somewhere. Now he's there and this war is going on. He's figured, I can make a shit ton of money here. And that is what he's doing. He's staying in power. The Ukrainian people want elections. Zelensky's banned elections. He's arrested political opposition. He's closed down any Ukrainian media that spoke against him. If you ask Ukrainians, they want an election. But he won't do it. He's also arresting priests. Now, I believe, I'm not 100% sure about the Orthodox Christian priests. I'm not sure, but he's going into these churches and arresting them. Because they are asking for the end to the war. Because it is a pointless war. If you look at it now, those borders have not moved. Russia moved in, Ukraine pushed them back. Ukraine pushed Russia. Nothing's happened for 4 or 5 years. It is a pointless war. It's a stalemate. Trump said to Zelenskyy, sue for peace. Zelenskyy said no. Give me another $500 billion. And Trump said no. What is wrong with that? He doesn't want to bankroll somebody else's war. That is basically American taxpayers' money being used to kill Russians and Ukrainians. That's wrong. No other country should be bankrolling another. The Russia-Ukraine war is a stalemate. Sue for peace. Zelenskyy wouldn't do it. Zelenskyy is a dictator. He is creaming the money off the top of this. Creaming it off. The supposedly billions of dollars disappeared. No one knows where it's gone. Obviously there's going to be fake news. Completely understand that. There's going to be misinformation from both sides. That's why you have to read between the lines, look at the evidence. People report that if Putin takes Ukraine, he's going to steamroll into Poland. Remember, the Russian army cannot take Ukraine. Ukraine's military is on its knees, and the Russians cannot defeat them. So do you think they are going to march across Poland next? Because the Polish army ain't going to let it happen. The Polish army would push them back no problem without any help from the EU. The Russian army is weak. It portrays strength, but it is weak. Trump knows this. And that's why he wants to sue for peace. Because he can go to Putin and say, your army's weak, you're not going anywhere. His army's weak, he's not going anywhere, let's end this. But the Liberals want the war to go on, and it's all because whatever Trump says, the Liberals will say the opposite. If Trump said tomorrow, drink water every day, it'll make you healthy, Liberals will say, I'm not drinking water anymore. It's Trump endorsed. As someone from the UK, I don't want my money going over there. I want my money going to Harold down the street, who's 90 years old, retired, lives on his own, can't afford to heat his house, can't afford to buy shopping. I want my money to go there. Yet, as soon as Starmer came back over here, he signed over another 250 billion. 250 billion. And we've got another budget coming up soon, and supposedly we're having all our taxes put up. It's wrong. And what you all need to watch, I've seen this with Americans more because I've been focusing on that a little bit. You've got the left fighting the right, and you're just fighting each other. You're not trying to come to common ground. You're not accepting of each other's views. You're just fighting each other. That is what they want. The people in power want the people, us, divided. You look at it, all the political movements, they will polarise one and polarise another and then put them against each other. I'm not going to mention various different movements because you know what they all are. They all come and go, etc., that kind of thing. But it is all about making the people fight each other. So they are focused on each other and not seeing what the big thing is that's happening. Because what's going to come next? We've had 2 months of all this stuff in America, and it has ripples around the world. We know it does. Obviously it does. But it's not us fighting. It's not the people fighting. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be looking at this going, alright, yeah, I'm a liberal, but I didn't know there was 400 trillion of our money being wasted on these things. That's wrong. But you won't. You're so close-minded, you're so focused on your little ideological pyramid that you will not open it up. And it makes you focus on fighting each other. instead of finding common ground and fighting for that common ground. Instead, you fight each other, and those at the top look down on you with the smiles on their face, and they carry on taking your money. They carry on beating you into the ground. And they carry on walking all over you. There is so much good in the world, but you cannot see it because you all look through your left, your right, your blue, your red, whatever it may be. You only look through those glasses and you don't see another point of view. And the world has become such a toxic place. Anything can cause an argument. You can go in the street and say the sky's blue and somebody will kick off with you because we have been taught to fight everything, and it's wrong. Whatever somebody says, fight it. No, don't. Find common ground, discuss it. It's needing to change. And is Trump the man to do it? I don't know. What he's done so far, I haven't seen him do anything I don't agree with. And as someone from the UK who's looking from the outside, I would have a Trump in this country right now. Someone with a backbone. But instead we've got a Starmer who nobody actually knows what his agenda actually is. Now, can it all change? Yes, it can. But the only people who can change it are the people. You vote these people into power. You can vote them out. But don't just look at, I don't like this person, I'm not voting for them. Look at what they've done. Go off evidence. Don't even listen to them because they all lie. That's been proven. Now obviously we can't say too much, especially in the UK. I don't want to be arrested. But the systems here are broken. They've been broken for years. They're not just broken, they don't exist anymore. They've crumbled so much they don't exist. Healthcare is terrible. You can't get doctor's appointments for months. You can't get a dentist, full stop. A few weeks ago I had to have a tooth removed because I haven't got a dentist. There's no dentists here. The roads are falling apart. The education system is an archaic 200-year-old system that is just there to indoctrinate our kids. And some of the stories that you are hearing, they're appalling. Teenage girls in high school not allowed to go to the toilet when they're on the period because the teacher says no. That's inhuman. Kids being sent home because they have a stripe on their sock. These aren't schools, these are prisons. You're sending your kids to mini prisons for the day. Education needs reform. we shouldn't be teaching kids half of the things we are teaching them. For the first 3 or 4 years, they should be taught common sense. They should be taught manners. They should be taught how to budget, how to organise their lives, how to talk to people, how to interact with people, and not just people from their own background, how to interact with everybody. That should be done at a young age. But instead, we fire pathetic maths down their mouths that they aren't going to use in real life. I was good at maths at school,
Across the pond.
and the maths I've used in my adult life, I would say is about 2% of it that I was taught in school. It's so in need of reform. Like I say, the first 5 years, it should be very basic stuff. How to maintain a house. This is for the boys and the girls. Social skills, budgeting, manners, common sense. That should all be taught in schools. Now, the only people who can change that are us. Nobody else can do that but us. Out of the 3 people we've discussed at the start, Starmer, Trump, Zelenskyy, on the evidence, which ones of those are dictators? Does America have free speech? Yes, it does. Is Trump putting Americans first and protecting Americans? Yes, he is. It's not Trump that's the dictator. If you look at the UK, Starmer is more of a dictator. We are the most surveilled society in the world. We have arrested and put in prison more people in the space of a year for memes on Facebook than Russia have in that same period. That's a dictator. Now look at Zelenskyy fighting a war that neither side is going to win. He isn't conscripting young men in his country. They are forcibly driving the streets and throwing them in the back of vans. That's their idea of an army. He's silenced his media in his country. I believe there's only one state media. I'm sure someone can correct me on that. He's banned elections. He's arresting the clergy. Is that not a dictator? I'm obviously not going to discuss Putin because I don't know anything about Russia. I'm not even going to go into that one. That's a whole different topic. But this is basically just a little get off your chest kind of thing. Just to try and make people think. I may have rambled, I may have ranted a little bit, but hey. I've learned over the past few years, don't keep anything in. Let it out. Let people discuss what you say. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a comment section somewhere. We're on Facebook. I'm reachable on TikTok. Come and discuss it. Tell us what side you are, what you would do different. Don't bawl and shout and riot in the streets and fight each other. Come and talk about it. There's enough negativity in the world without us being at each other's throat. So I think we'll close it there. Rant over. We will be back. I think next week we'll be back. I'm not sure what the topic will be, but it'll be something paranormal, conspiracy wise. So whatever you're watching us on, give us a like, give us a 5-star review, give us a follow, give us a share, give us a subscribe, all of those kind of things. We're on Facebook, TikTok, we're pretty much everywhere. So I hope I've not bored you for the past nearly 40 minutes. It's basically just to make you see where you are. So thanks for listening, and we will be back next week. Peace to you all.